Commercial dancers have always had to spend their career with very little security. No clear regulations, no rules, no penalties for the late payments we all have to wait on, no standard working hours or overtime, and the list goes on.
Who is actually caring about our interests? Or maybe they are, but we haven't communicated that we don't feel that way. So that was then we realised the bridge to cross was communication.
The reason why we started with the terms and conditions is because there was nothing in place that fundamentally established how a dancer should be treated in a working environment. It is so important for us to know our hours, our working conditions, what we accept and what we do not accept, and what we are comfortable with.
Me and Richie had this passion straight away and enthusiasm, and we was really consistent with actually wanting to do something about it. So we put in a lot of our own work to actually come up with the conditions. So we had numerous meetings at various different houses between us all.
The movement was actually, I started to see the actual dancers network signs, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know that what it was at the beginning, and I thought this is amazing that there's actually becoming a community within the dancers.
When the dancers first came to me, I was worried about the size of the project because the industry is vast. There are a myriad of different engagers, all offering their own terms, and it's extremely difficult to regulate such a vast industry.
Equity has been there historically for musical theatre and for theatrical West End dancers, but nothing for this kind of commercial dance industry.
We went and met with every single agency, every single choreographer. We obviously went out of our way to explain what we were trying to achieve with dancers, to get them on board with us and get us all enthused together, so we were all on the same page and explain what it is that we wanted to try and achieve. I came into this quite young and I kind of never really knew what to expect, and even when I was on jobs, I never really knew my hours. Sometimes I generally didn't even know what I was getting paid until I received it. At the time as well, I was actually in fear of asking too many questions to my agent, so then I ended up not asking any.
Just to give you some example, the rate that we would get for a show 20 years ago was the same rate that dancers are getting now.
Those are all the things as agents we were coming up against, even when we were trying to make these changes. This is why it's really important for this kind of to be a collective thing. So actually when it was about coming together, by the time it got to that point, we were just so ready for it.
With the dedication of a few individuals, Dancers Network have started a fast-spreading movement, creating a unified voice for the industry and the rights of performers.
In our first meeting with the agencies, bear in mind this was the first time this step has been taken, that we required all of the agencies to get together in one room with the union, with industry professionals, with dancers, and we asked them for actual change, actual steps that they can be doing to help us to create a better industry for us.
I was extremely pleased with the amount of dancers and agencies that attended the first meeting. That filled me with hope that we'd make some progress despite the difficulty of the task involved. I was very pleased to see so many people in the room, all willing and wanting to make things better for the dancers.
I can't explain what a big deal it really was to have all of the agents who were representing the best dancers in London, in the UK, sit together in one room. It was definitely a moment.
Obviously when we first started, it was very, I wouldn't even say intense, well maybe a little bit actually, but obviously there's a lot of personalities in the room, everyone's got a lot to say, nothing's ever really been said in such an intimate environment.
I know you and I think I've seen you, and okay, you did that, and okay, and there's all your dancers there that were fighting for this change. I don't know, it was a very exciting day.
It was an insane experience. It was a monumental step that we chose to take. It was very scary to take that step, but looking back now, it was the best decision we could have made because
we knew what we wanted and we knew what we was asking for, and we believed that it was fair.
The excitement in the room of agents looking at all each other thinking, okay, we're doing something.
Afterwards, everybody walked away with a sense of feeling united, and that was very beautiful.
That first day was a game changer.
This past year of continuous meetings has brought equity, the top dance agencies, performing arts colleges, mental health professionals and dancers to work together as a community.
What we've been able to do is try and uniform something, find a commonality between all of our projects somehow, and then break down some sort of key core areas that dancers find concerning, that agents would find difficult to enforce, and then find a middle ground.
Communication amongst the agents, and as a result of Dancers Network forming their union, if you like, we as agents have created a collective as well, the Dance Agents Association, to make sure that we are being the best agents we can possibly be.
There has been a way for everyone to kind of just give their authentic voice and really say what it is that they want to see happen, what it is that they really feel, and what it is that they really think is an absolute 100% must. And this document is a starting point.
As the year progressed, there were some difficult meetings. There were times when the enormity of the task in front of us was frightening, I would have thought, for both the dancers and the agencies.
Everything is going really wrong, and I have so much work to do for Dancers Network. People never see the hard parts.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes the meetings were up to 3 hours, a lot of restlessness.
We had another 7-hour meeting, obviously, because that's all we do. It's only meant to be 2, then you look at the clock and it's 9 hours later. Oh, hello, goodbye.
Equity was very pleased with the fact that everybody held in there and persisted.
It kind of all just clicked, and it wasn't a back and forth anymore. It wasn't us explaining or defending, or it was kind of, we were actually all on the same team.
Yeah, it started to feel less you and us and more us.
I've really enjoyed working with the dancers. They've been great. I've loved their enthusiasm, the fact that they've spent hours of their time trying to improve things, not only for themselves individually, but for the wider group of dancers.
It's been a very challenging year, but I think has been very positive in every single way. Everything was growth, everything was progression, everything was forward, so it's been beautiful.
Everybody in the room wanted a very positive outcome for the dancers, and that's why Equity was prepared to spend as much time and energy and resources as we did to keep with that programme, to ensure it was a success.
We've created a document of terms and conditions we agree on that will set us all on a better path. Change is upon us. Change begins now.
What this document will achieve is that it will eliminate so many gray areas in our industry. Dancers will now know where to go when they have questions before, during, and after a job. One place for all of the knowledge that they can possibly need to be the best that they can be.
We have gone into the tiniest details of components we probably didn't even realise were so important to you. We only want you to be happy. You do a very good job and you do a very hard job, and you should be getting paid to do what you enjoy.
The power is with the dancers. Dancers Network educating the dancers, and then having the dancers come on board as well. So everybody was a collective in making this movement happen. For me, the biggest shift in this was working together with Equity.
This document, it means that we're collectively coming from the same place and reading off the same page. It means that we have a collective voice, which is really super important.
It's about the terms and conditions, relationships, communication.
I'm not a singular voice, I'm a collective. And so, and then obviously now we have Equity behind us as well.
They've played a really good role in being the middleman, especially at the beginning, between the dancers and the agent.
It's just giving us strength.
The consistency of those terms will be carried over through every single engagement, so that it becomes the norm for each dancer that works on them.
And now by having this document, we can all speak from the same place. This has not just been created by a few dancers, by all of our agencies, by the union. It is approved by all of them, and it's something that will benefit everybody in the long run.
I think it's really good that this has happened now, but it is not the end point, or at least it shouldn't be the end point. It should definitely be a work in progress.
A lot of work was put in and a lot more is still to be done, but we're still as happy to put it in.